Okay, the next session today is about packaging. That will be chaired by my colleague, Mr. Jouni Lattu. Packaging is an area where VTT is doing more and more research all the time, and we are broadening our offering, so to speak, in that field. We work with packaging materials. We do simulations linked to packaging, and we do consumer studies and everything like that. A couple of words about my colleague, my quite new colleague, Mr. Jouni Lattu. Jouni works as a business manager at VTT and concentrates on packaging applications. He has a solid background in the packaging converting industry, having worked there for I don't know, 50 years.
Good enough. Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jouni Lattu, and I'm happy to lead us to the discussion about the actual packaging part of this Forest Tech seminar. We have heard a lot today already about the different applied research leads that we have guiding us towards packaging development, and we can only use them efficiently if we, together with the packaging supply chain, can direct them quite in a focused way to certain applications, and with that put those two things together. We will have three parts in this packaging session. This is called Sustainable and Smart Performing Package, and we want to create a more sustainable packaging assortment for the supply chain, but we also want that to perform in a smart way. And with this, we want to tackle with these three approaches today. I will talk about applications for packaging. Elina Rusko will talk about customizing of packaging for different special consumer segments. And Tomi Erho will talk about packaging intelligence and how that can be applied and used. If we first look at the packaging industry as such, globally it is a fairly large industry with 600 billion euros turnover, if we calculate that in converted materials. And that is not as large as automobile industry, for example, but it is larger than mobile phone industry, if we take a comparison. And this correlates roughly to 300 million tons of material, a little bit more than 300, and then if you calculate with just below 2 euros per kilo converted price, then we don't quite reach 600 billion, but almost. Packaging industry, we normally think about primary packagings because that is what we see in grocery shop, for example, as consumers. But secondary packaging also is a very large part of this, as is industrial packaging. Secondary packaging dominated by corrugated board. This is in the world still a growing business, and nice to say that of the total paper and board manufacturing in the world, about 1/3 is corrugated board for transport packaging. 1/3. It's quite a lot, 30%. 130 million tons out of 390 total. So there is a good section to concentrate on. Primary packaging is the one that we always think about. It's very fragmented. There is a lot of different paper and board packagings, a lot of different plastic, glass and metal packagings, and also a lot of players in the packaging supply chain, particularly converters who are players in this field. That affects also the research and development field in packaging, because it's more difficult to get really large consortia together. Just the millions of euros are not behind it. Now, first of the applications, let's look at the thing that we as consumers see most often. When we go and buy our groceries in a supermarket, we are looking at the food packagings, and from an application and from technicality point of view, we should think about this. When the packaging and the food goes through a modern distribution chain into the final supermarket, the distribution chain is segmented into dry, chilled, and frozen. So all the trucks and all the warehouses, they are segmented into these three. And that then relates to, for example, different ways of packing. Milk typically is either in the cold chain or it's aseptic. Here in the picture we can see an aseptic packaging. We can see that there's an aluminium layer in that, and that means it doesn't need cold climate. It can be in the dry section, so room temperature. Form-fill seal is a way of making packaging from a reel of either paper or plastic, typically, and that is then the packaging is made at the site where the packaging is made. Typically, liquid packaging board, like in this picture, is also an FFS packaging. Modified atmosphere is used to keep oxygen away from the product, and instead putting nitrogen and CO2 blend into the packaging. And for that, again, in our developments, we need to take care of the gas barrier properties of the packaging. Carbonated drinks, adding to this, carbonation means pressure, so limits carton board packaging in certain applications, and that is something we need to bear in mind. Frozen foods has typically been a lot in plastic bags. Now, when the supermarkets are going from the chest freezers into upright cabinets for frozen foods, then it means that it needs more carton board packaging, and that also with features that allow it to be there. That means fighting against the condensate water coming to the outside of the pack. Okay, this about our very normal grocery food shopping. Now, two other segments which have a little bit significance. Retail-ready packaging is something which is about 10-15 years old. It started 20 years ago, but then it started with the plastic bottles, where they went into shrink film multi-packs. And it was so long ago that nobody from us remembers a time when they were not in these shrink film multi-packs. And basically this means a merger of the functions of the primary and secondary packaging, and it means that the secondary packaging as such is largely eliminated. For example, this kind of packaging is made out of corrugated. It's so stiff that it carries all the load by itself, so it's never placed in a brown cardboard box for transport. And of course, the driver for this is elimination of labor force at the retail level, so they don't need to actually have people taking the primary packagings out of the secondary boxes and put them in shelves. Food service packaging as another particular application that I want to point out here. We talk about sustainable packaging, and also that relates to the environmentally friendly packaging that we have been talking for a long time. And it really started with the food service packaging when in the end 80s, early 90s, there was a lot of litter of food service packaging outside the QSR restaurants, quick service restaurants, and that brought it to the highlight that something needs to be done to the waste management of that, particularly because the shelf life is short for food service packaging. It's mostly used for 30 minutes, and then the packaging is redundant. Visible high street exposure. Everybody can see it when it's disposed of wrongly as litter. But still, food service packaging doesn't go away. It's very integral to the modern lifestyle. We have on-the-go coffee that many people are using. Here the McDonald's modern coffee cup. And still a lot of emphasis on the food service packaging because of the visibility of that. Talking about sustainability, this has been on the agenda now for 20 years. Finally, it has also become a business for certain people. Braskem is a Brazilian chemical company, and they have started making high-density polyethylene a couple of years ago, and they have been able to sell it to end users like Johnson & Johnson, Danone, and Tetra Pak, and put that into real applications. Here is, for example, Danone Germany. They have put a yogurt drink called Actimel into a sugarcane-based polyethylene bottle. Coca-Cola has launched a plant bottle, which is currently 30% plant-based polyester plastic. The ethylene glycol part is sourced from a sustainable source, so it is from plant base. And they are planning to also replace the terephthalic acid, 70% of the PET in the near future. Polylactide acid, PLA, is a plastic resin which is based on corn, and NatureWorks is the company currently making it. VTT was actually originally involved in the very origin of PLA when it was still a project for Cargill. We developed the yeast technology for that, so it is something which we have done early on, but it's maybe 15 years ago when that was an active project for us. But we are still proud of that. Now, this is Danone's yogurt called Activia, which is on the market, retails in Germany in every shop. And this is a PLA packaging. Now, from this sustainability picture, where 3 companies have actually made it into a business for themselves, let's look at how we see that. We have the so-called FiberValue vision. From the normal square, we have the degradable and bio-based packaging materials, or let's say plastic resins, and bioplastics is the one which is doing both. It's bio-based and biodegradable. For example, PLA would be that. We want to go to fiber materials so that it is both bio-based and biodegradable and more. And with that we mean that it's also definitely it's not based out of corn, but it's based out of forest fibers, so it's non-food origin, and also we can say that it's non-GMO origin. GMO stands for genetically modified organisms, and that's what we don't use. Benefits helps to differentiate in the retail shelf, and gives price stability in case oil derivatives start going up, and waste management compatibility is guaranteed. Here are some thoughts about what we could do with hybrid cartons and enhanced rigidity. We have 2 very particular segments in packaging materials. The corrugated board, which is large, 134 million tons of material, and then we have cardboards, which are 40-odd million tons. And they are both still, when we think about the way that converters are using them, there is a lot of this machine direction, cross-direction thinking. So it's always either you go in the machine direction or the other one. And here we want to question a little bit if we can change that picture. And here on the right-hand side on this picture, of those two boxes, the left one has a honeycomb pattern on it, and that's an example of how when applying a honeycomb, we can mix the rigidity picture so that we have rigidity enforced also in the other directions, not only machine or cross direction. And this is only one example, but I would encourage also a discussion about what else can we do, so that it's not just a 6-corner hexagon what we are using, but it can be whatever other forms. But this is something where we can also look at together and see if we can find suitable concepts which are suitable for your applications. Hybrid fiber materials. Here we want to also come to an unknown area which is between two worlds, between cardboard and traditional polymer materials. And we have, for example, the hemicellulose film here, which is both transparent and moldable. And it's a piece of wood, but it doesn't really look like that. But it's completely transparent, and it can be modified, and with that also be converted with different ways. Then we have internally plasticized cardboard, which is a stretching cardboard, and that can be really thermoformed, and that is something where we are on our way to improving it from the market standards that there are currently. Nanocellulose foam is something where we are also taking the early stages, but also we wouldn't like to make more without having partners, so that we know that we are going to the right direction, and we would have either a one-to-one development project with somebody, or a consortia within packaging supply chain, or even with some of you as competitors coming together to this project. But this is very much open ends. So with this and the previous slide, I don't give you answers as to where world is, but these are open-ended things where I'm saying let's make something out of this, and let's make from here something which is coming next in the world. As a summary, packaging industry is fragmented. Total turnover is 600 billion euros. If we take the French Tetra Pak, they are approximately 10 billion euros. So they are just 1.5% of the total. And then we have some companies, other companies who are approximately in that range. But there is not many who are going above 10 billion euros in turnover. So it's fragmented. It's also machine park driven. With this, I mean that people care about their current production, what they have sitting on the floor, and there is not a great drive to replace those machines with new investments. And it's right. It's selfish and it's correct, but still it's true. You know, this is how the packaging industry has been behaving, and when we want to keep the current machines running, then at the same time we are hesitant to initiate product innovation, because it's cannibalizing what we are doing already now. So from this, our common challenge is that we still want to enhance end product sales, and we would like to together find technological leads from here, what we have, put those together with your applications, and see that it makes sense, and create a very precise path about how we go further in that, so that we are creating actually a working a future packaging concept. Questions again will be coming after the two next speakers. And now I would like to welcome Elina Rusko to speak about packaging that delivers convenience and customized service. Elina has a strong experience in packaging communication, printing and usability issues, and she works as a senior scientist in packaging development projects.